I do want to mention that our next session that's coming up next month is with Maurice Domino. He is the Sicilian mentor, and this guy is really, really amazing. He's done over 1,500 presentations around the country. He's going to be talking about communicating your message, and this particular session is brought to you by Evans Manufacturing. And the thing is, Evans has these really cool Italian cooking utensils, and so everyone who attends that session is going to get these products that are the only products that Grandma Domino will use in her home. And so under resources on the Success Tracks tab right here on freepromotips.com, you can register for the session. This one is actually limited to 100 people, so you want to get registered and in on that session as well. And Success Tracks is brought to you by Warwick Snuggs and AIA, and we really do appreciate their support. And so as we move forward now, I'm going to hand this over to Ron Barron. And by the way, for this session, our good friends over at Evans, good friends over at Fields and Target Line are going to give everybody something cool and new from their line. So we appreciate that. So here's Mr. Ron Barron. Tell us, buddy, why is the customer always wrong?
Well, Jeff, you know, it's interesting. I've been blessed to be a senior executive at a few somewhat significant suppliers in our industry, and I used to think it was dog-eat-dog kind of world, and you had to work, and the customer was always right. That was the traditional wisdom we listened to, and mostly I worked in the Northeast, and as I moved west, I looked back and I realized that most of us as senior executives sort of got it all wrong, and I realized that success comes from three counterintuitive principles. In order to be successful in our industry, for one, you have to charge more than your competition. And for two, to be as successful as you can possibly be, you must work less. And three, you have to understand that for your business to survive as successfully as in your dreams, you have to know the customer is always wrong. And once you understand those three principles, success comes easily. And today we're going to handle the part of that wisdom that implies the customer is always wrong. So are we ready to get started?
Oh, yeah, I guess so, Ron. I think you might be wrong, but, you know, prove me wrong.
It's one of my favorite things to do, Jeff.
Awesome. All right.
So the first thing, you know what, we are in a tougher economy, and it's not going to change. You know, a couple of years ago, we were hoping that somehow our economy would improve, would change. We are in a new kind of economy, and people are watching their dollars, their spending, their budgets, and your clients are cutting their budgets left and right, and you're hearing about this all the time. And some of you might be saddened because your clients are continually cutting their budgets. I say that you ought to be sort of glorified in the fact that your clients are cutting their budgets. You ought to congratulate. I am glad you're cutting your budget. Way to go. You know what? We are in a tough economy, and I want to make sure that you survive, because if you survive, then I get clients that survive. So I applaud you for cutting your budget, because you know what's interesting? I never cost you money. I am never a line item of cost on your budget. I do one thing. I improve and expand your bottom line. So I am not a budget item. I am an investment that improves your bottom line, and I help you achieve narrower, smaller, diminished budgets. And the thing to understand about budgets is budgets are for people who think they know what they know. Budgets are made by people based on their understanding of their business. But the truth is that they don't know the promotional products industry and the glory that our industry can bring to their businesses. So they're making budgets they're creating budgets in a vacuum. For example, if you like chocolate, so that every day, say at lunchtime, you go into the grocery store to buy a chocolate bar, and let's say that chocolate bar you buy is 50 cents. So you basically, in your mind, have budgeted 50 cents a day for chocolate because you know you get the chocolate bar you like for 50 cents. One day you go into the grocery store at lunchtime and you see this new thing you've never seen before. It's a chocolate bar, but it has fresh raspberries embedded into it. And you look at this and you say, oh my gosh, you know what? I love chocolate. I am passionate about raspberries. This is for me. I didn't know this existed. This talks to my taste buds. And you look at the price and it's 95 cents. What do? You buy it. So all of a sudden your budget goes out the window because you now have been introduced to something that so fits your needs, your persona, that you didn't know existed before. You buy it. You ignore your budget. The same is true for your clients. Your clients are creating budgets based on what they know. They think they need 1,000 pens. They think they need a gross of imprinted coffee mugs, but they don't know what you know about how they can achieve their goals, solve their pains. So again, when you hear your clients say, hey, yeah, I have a budget of $1.50 a piece and I need 1,500 of these items, you can ignore your client because guess what? They're wrong. They're wrong because they don't know what you know, and you're going to teach them. And remember, why did you – go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I was going to say, and so our job is really to educate them in that way because I believe most on this in this session today, feel like, maybe the buyers don't really understand this value. They consider, what we sell trash and trinkets because we have maybe not done a good job explaining how these products carry a marketing and branding message that are super cost effective.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, Jeff. We have not done a good job as an industry of helping communicate the value of what we do. And what's unique about what we do, remember, we represent the only form of advertising that is not considered a nuisance. Nobody wants more billboards, more banner ads on their internet, more TV ads interrupting their shows, more radio ads interrupting their music, more magazine ads. Nobody wants more advertising. We have the only form of advertising that is not considered a nuisance that people want and that they actually thank you for. And if you were willing as an advertiser to give your client more than one promotional product, then we have the only form of advertising that people would actually want more of. How many people call up an advertiser and say, hey, saw your ad on TV. Thank you for that ad. Thank you for interrupting my show. Thank you for interrupting the sports game I was watching. Nobody ever does that. But you give our product and people say thanks. And if you're willing to give two, people will thank you even more. Nobody calls up an advertiser and says, hey, saw your ad in the magazine. Would you put 2 pages in the magazine next time? I really like that. I'd want double the advertising. It never happens except in our industry. So when people would love to have a second pen, a second coffee mug, a second key tag, Padfolio, you name it, what they're saying is, yeah, I so like your advertising medium that I wish I had more, and I would go spread your word to other people. I'd give it to my spouse. I'd give it to my friend. I'd give it to my aunt, whatever, and I would love to help you spread your word. We have a unique advertising medium, and we often ourselves, our own professionals, tend to not appreciate what we have.
Got it.
So to that end, remember, why did you go into this business? You went into this business, I'm going to guess, because you thought that this would be an opportunity to make a boatload of money. And secondly, you probably went into this business because you figured that finally I can have control of my life. I can stop working for that unscrupulous boss that I used to work for and finally have control and find a little wealth. Well, how many on this session listening to us today are making all the money you dreamed you could make? I bet no one. And how many of you have the control of your life you wish you had, or is your business controlling you? Has your business canceled a vacation, canceled a family event, canceled something that you wished you could have gone to, but I had to attend to my business? So if you went into business to make money and control your life, and the business instead is controlling you and you're not making the money of your dreams, then recognize, okay, something is wrong with this picture. So I need to wake up tomorrow and I need to do something different than I'm doing today. There isn't anyone on this call who doesn't want their life to be better. But we tend to wake up every day, every morning, and we do exactly what we did yesterday, and we wonder why our life isn't getting better. Well, we're going to start thinking about how to change our lives simply simple little steps that will make a difference so that we can start achieving the dreams that we had for ourselves relative to why we entered this business. So the first thing we need to learn is to ignore your clients. I know it sounds wrong. I know it sounds blasphemous, but you need to ignore your clients. When your clients call you up and tell you what they want, ignore them. Ignore them. And if you think that that's a difficult concept, if you think that, oh my gosh, how disrespectful, how am I going to ignore my clients? You know what? I'm going to tell you that you have a lot of practice ignoring people. When you meet someone in the street, at a meeting, anywhere, the first question you ask, whether they're a friend, a family member, a distant acquaintance, a close acquaintance, a dignitary, doesn't matter who they are, one of the first questions you ask is, how are you? And the truth is, you don't want them to tell you how they are. You don't want to hear about the toe they stubbed. You don't want to hear about the earache they had, that they tossed and turned last night, that they have one bill too many that they can't afford to pay. You don't really want to hear about how are you. So what do? You're really ignoring them. And when someone asks you, how are you, you ignore the question. So you're good at it. Remember, similarly, when someone tells you that, hey, I need 1,000 T-shirts, ignore the question as though it's how are you. And this is where your job starts coming to play and where you have the opportunity to make money. I'm going to suggest that you never sell what your client wants. That's right, never sell what your client wants. I know someone outside of Chicago. He earns over $1 million. He is a sole operator, meaning a one-person business in our industry, amazingly successful. It earns, not sells, over $1 million. He earns over $1 million a year. When he gets a call from someone who says, hey, I'd like 1,500 golf balls, what's your price? He hangs up the phone. He just hangs up the phone because someone who thinks they know what they want, he ignores, he recognizes those people are not in his market space, and they're not going to make him money. So when your client does call and say, you know what, I am having a trade show, I need 1,000 pens, I see that I can get this pen that I'm looking at for $1 on the internet, can you get that for me? I'd like to order 1,000. And what you ought to be doing, again, in your ignoring the client, is say, oh, well, that's interesting, 1,000 pens. Tell me how you're going to use those pens. Well, I have a trade show coming up. It's a little home show in my town, and they tell me in their literature that there are going to be 1,000 attendees, and I'd like to hand out this $1 pen to every attendee of that trade show so that they can have a memory of my name. Well, that's interesting. What is your business? You should be asking. And, well, I make spas, whirlpools, tubs, things like that. I make home spas. And I'd like to make sure that everybody understands that I am the best resource for spas in this region. So I'd like to hand out a pen, $1 pen, to each of these 1,000 attendees. Well, that's interesting. Do you think, sir, that if there are 1,000 attendees to this home show, that all 1,000 people are going to be visiting your exhibit? Oh, well, shucks, now that you mention it, that's true. I bet not. You know what? I bet only half of the attendees are going to visit my exhibit. Okay, sir, and do you believe that of those half people, now we're down to 500 people, do you believe that all 500 of those people are likely prospects for you to sell spas to and really might buy a spa? Oh, well, that's a good point. Now that you make me think about it, shucks, I bet only 20% of those people might actually be interested in purchasing a spa. Okay, so now we're down to 100 people. You were going to spend $1 for a pen times 1,000. You were going to spend $1,000. I'm going to suggest that you now only buy 100 gifts, but let's make it this great little shower and bath set, and they cost $10 each. And they're going to go, they're somewhat elegant, they're going to go in everyone's bathroom, and every time they take their traditional shower or bath, they're going to see your name, remembering that they could have a luxurious spa instead of this plain old bath or shower they're about to take. And you will create some real, instead of giving people a cheap little pen that they'll likely throw away or hardly use or stick in a drawer, and give them literally to 90% of the audience that is not your audience, why don't we give something great and memorable to your target audience and make sure that they know who you are, they know what you represent, and you're making a connection to the people who are important to you, who are going to pay your income and grow your bottom line. And you're going to spend exactly the same number of dollars. You're going to spend 10 times 100 instead of 1 times 1,000. That's what we bring to the table as professionals in the promotional products industry. It's our job to redirect our clients' needs and ignore what they think they want. Why? Because the customer's always wrong. The customer doesn't know what we know. They think they know, but they don't know. So what is your job? If you think your job is to answer the phone, hear from people what product they want because they saw it on the internet, hear from people what price they'd like to pay, and you figure out a way to sell it to them, you're not a promotional products professional. You're an order taker, and you're going to wind up getting paid like an order taker, which is not a lot. As you know, consultants get paid lots of money, and you want to be consultative. You've heard that time and time again, ad nauseum. When you become consultative and educate your clients, as Jeff just suggested a couple minutes ago, all of a sudden you start making money. When you take that trade show example, you were going to probably lower your price if you listened to what he was asking for. It might have been a pen that retails for $1.30, but you were going to figure out how to sell it to him for just $1 to meet or beat the price he saw on the internet. In this case, you're going to sell him $10. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I want to interject this thing because I think everybody is facing this whole topic of internet stuff. And I've been in this industry a long time, in addition to publishing free promo tips. I mean, I am a distributor and I do this stuff. So we all can relate to. I found this on the internet, and Ron, I'm sure, there's a way we can address this. But again, I think that when it comes down to commodity sales, some of it we may need to just let go, because if all you want is the cheapest product on the internet, then you'll probably lose that, and that's really not the customer you want to invest your time in. I can say that I just was working on a very large bid for it's not a bid, it was an order for the city, and they go, how many pens can I get for $2,000, because that's the bid threshold, minus tax, and it ends up being, almost 3,000 pens, so the thing is, they came to me, this is an order without question, but they didn't go to the internet, and that's because of this relationship we have and some of the ideas that I brought to them over a period of time. So not really based on price. They actually did go online to look at pens and say, hey, can I get this and that, and show me pens, and that becomes crazy, as most of you all know. There's so many pens, and I go, let me bring you some samples. Let me show you, because I want you to write with them, because this is for economic development, and they're giving them out to businesses and so forth. So simple commodity item, which could be shopped for online for price, I was able to diffuse that by taking the extra effort to get a sample and show my expertise by delivering pens that will write and be in a position to not have it be price sensitive.
Sure. No, I think that's valid, Jeff. I'm going to give you even some more pushback, though, on that, because if you were to do your job super effectively, you would have asked them how they're going to use that pen, what is the message that they're trying to get across, and what is the action that they wish the pen recipients will then engage in. And you might help coax them into something that isn't even a pen. And that's where your value really comes to the table, and that's where your value becomes unquestioned.
Right, and Ron, you're absolutely right, and this is, of course, one of their commodity items, and I think this is appropriate to tell a little story, because I think you folks will enjoy this, because this has come up before with the City Economic Development Department. I've proposed some other things. This is a commodity item they buy, but in one scenario, and this is one that I lost on, but I think I did a great job, and that was I came up with the idea. They were hosting, there's an SBC or ATT golf tournament out here. It's nationally televised, big deal. They had a tent, and all the VIPs come. It's all about economic development and bringing people who would want to relocate into our city, and most cities have these economic development departments, and so they were looking for an item to give away, a nice gift, and I suggested a book from my friend Ronnie Wright at the book company with a color cover and a tip-in with pictures that talked about success, and the book was on the topic of success quotes and so forth, and it was really killer, and it said, when you move to Santa Clarita, you can expect success, and a book is completely an off the out of the box type of a promotional product because people don't think they can get them. So anyway, several just were blown away by this, and in the end, somebody decided they didn't like the idea, and the decision they made was we're going to upgrade the lunch from chicken to beef. And I did a promo tip on it, and I said, chicken to beef? Really? So we all know where that investment went. So sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some, but again, this is out of the box thinking. They're thinking of a trinket or something they want to give away. I suggest a high impact, high value perceived product, but they choose beef over chicken, and investment's gone. Sorry, go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, no, that's great. But you know what? Even if you didn't get that order, you made a point about what you represent. And that is going to help you in the future with your relationship and this client. They recognize that you are not just a retailer or product. You know what? It's Walmart's job to show product on a shelf, and we go walk into Walmart and we make the decision about what to buy. We pick something up, we hold it, we like it, we think it'll do the job, we look at the price, we like it, and we buy it. And if you're willing to accept Walmart's type of margin, then you can be a retailer that just sells stuff that your clients decide on. But if we want to be successful in this industry, we need to guide our clients and show them what we know about our industry that truthfully they don't know. And that's really what our jobs really are.
Cool.
So thanks for those real world examples. And what we need to remember, it's okay to sell. Sometimes the concept of salesmanship gets a bad rap in our country. Used car salespeople, are there any good ones? No, they're all unscrupulous. Well, you know what? In America, more used cars are sold than new, and very often on a repeat basis from the same salesperson. So there have to be some good ones. Remember when we got those sales calls when it was legal to get telemarketing calls that would interrupt your dinner? Anybody like those calls? No, of course not. We hated those calls. But you know why you got those calls? Because they worked. It's okay to sell. There's a segment of society that says, hey, I didn't like the intrusion in my dinner. I don't like the interruption. But you know what? I do need a vacuum cleaner, and I'm busy. I have kids to cart around. I have meetings to attend to. I have projects I got to work on, and I don't want to fight traffic in the shopping malls this weekend. Send me the flippin' vacuum cleaner you're trying to sell, and we're done. It's okay to sell. And once we understand that it's our job to sell, meaning to redirect our client, then life gets good. Interesting story. My son is a sales manager at Best Buy, the electronics store, and he was telling me a story.
I've been there once or twice.
Yeah, we all tend to have. So he was telling me that he was actually covering at the cash register, and at Best Buy, the pressure is to sell protection programs for whatever people buy. And there was a guy that was buying a flat screen TV. He was a big, burly, strong guy. He was a Marine, and he was in uniform. And this big guy towering over my son. My son starts telling him about the protection program that he can buy for his flat screen TV. And the Marine says to my son very directly and boldly, now don't start selling me a protection program. If you start selling me a protection program, I am going to punch you in the nose. My son takes a deep breath, looks him in the eye, and he says, you know what, sir? My job is more important than my face, and here's why you need a protection program for this flat-screen TV. And in the end, he bought the program, thanked my son for being bold enough to give him some pushback, because you know what? It's okay to sell, and the customer is almost always wrong because the customer doesn't know what you know. The customer has preconceptions about our industry and how our industry works, but they don't know. Your job to teach them. You know what? I love physicians. Physicians are among the wealthiest segment of our society in general. And when you go to the doctor, you don't go to the doctor and say, hey, doc, I have a 3-millimeter diameter tumor in my brain. Would you take your finest scalpel and please remove that tumor out of my brain? No, you go to your doctor and you say, you know what? I don't know, in the middle of the night for about 2 hours long, I get this pounding headache in the back of my head that I've never felt before, and it has me concerned. And the doctor says, okay, we'll do some tests, we're going to check this out, and we'll figure out what's wrong, and we'll take care of that. You don't tell the doctor what to do. You don't tell the doctor his or her business. You go with your pain, and the doctor comes up with a solution. And then the good doctors, if you notice, what do? after you've described your pain and they've talked about the fact that they're going to find a solution, they take a deep breath and there's a little bit of silence. And the doctor stares you in the eye and he says, you know, what else? What else? And you say, oh, you know what, I wasn't going to mention this, but I got this little growth thing behind my ear. It's a tiny little thing. It's, you know, I'm sure it'll go away. It's hardly bothersome. You know, it's frivolous. And the doctor says, oh, don't worry, I'll take a look at that and we'll solve that. No problem. And he quiets down again. He looks you in the eye and he goes, what else? You know what? I stubbed my toe the other day. This is silly. I wasn't going to mention it, but you know, my nail looks like it might be hanging off. I'm not really sure. It's just a stupid little thing. I'll take care of it. No. I'll take a look at that. We'll solve that. And now the doctor has 3 revenue-producing initiatives that will help you solve your pain and make money for the doctor. And when you take that same approach as the doctor, when you realize it's your job to be the physician of corporate pain for your clients, and you start asking them about their pains, interviewing them about their challenges, you know, what would make them look better to their boss, or if they're the business owner, what would make the business thrive in their mind, all of a sudden you start getting wealthy. And if anyone on this call thinks that you sell imprinted products, again, you don't understand what you sell. Understand, imprinted products, logoed products, are just an excuse. They're an excuse for you to get a meeting in front of your client so that you can show them how creative you are, how intelligent you are, what relationships you have with suppliers, what experience you have in this industry. Because what you're selling is your brain. You're selling yourself, your creativity, your knowledge, your experience. You're not selling imprinted products. They're just a means toward an end. And when we focus on the product, again, we're back in the whole Walmart model of sales. And when you're selling stuff, when you're selling product, and that's the focus, it's always about product at a price. And that's why the majority of our industry doesn't make a lot of money, because the focus is on the product and there's always a value assigned to the product. But if the focus becomes on the pain, when you go to the doctor and he tells you, you know what, I can remove that brain tumor, you don't start negotiating price. You're so excited that there's a solution to your pain that you just want to go forward. And you want to create that same kind of relationship between you and your client. And you're going to always hear, especially in today's economy, you're going to hear that, oh, I need it for cheaper. I'm looking for a real bargain. You know what? I read a survey in the Wall Street Journal recently that indicated 90% of salespeople will give a discount when asked. Not even under pressure, just when asked. 90%. So what does that mean? It means that 9 out of 10 of our peers selling whatever it is they sell have trained our clients to anticipate, expect, and therefore ask for a discount. Because 9 out of 10 times they're going to get a discount. So again, it's a frivolous question. When people are asking you for a bargain, they don't care about the bargain, but if you're willing to cut your price, they're happy to save a few bucks. We all like saving a few bucks, but that is not the point. When your client says, I'm looking for a bargain, that doesn't mean that you have to cheapen yourself and your products to the lowest price you can imagine. You know what? If you need to buy a Kia in order to get into an automobile, there's nothing wrong with that, because Kias are rated as great cars. But as soon as we can afford a Cadillac, we stop shopping in the Kia dealership, because we in America love to spend as much as we can. And as soon as we can afford a Mercedes, we stop shopping in the Cadillac dealer and spend even more. But when we go to that Mercedes dealer to buy a car, guess what? We're looking for a real bargain. We try to negotiate with the sales guy or the sales gal to try to save a few $100, maybe $1,000 or $2,000 off our $80,000 Mercedes-Benz. So sure, we're looking for a bargain, but we're spending 4 times what we could have spent if we went to the Kia dealership instead. So put that bargain hunt in perspective for yourself. It doesn't mean that people need to be skinny down to the cheapest possible thing. They need you to prove the value. And in that bargain hunting, you know what? I guarantee if the salesperson at the Mercedes dealer says, you know what, I got a killer bargain for you. I will sell you this brand new Mercedes, this $80,000 Mercedes. I will sell it to you for just $40,000. What do you think about that? There's just one little thing I have to do here. I have to take my screwdriver and my pliers. I have to pry off the name Mercedes, and I have to replace it with the name Hyundai. I guarantee nobody would buy that car even though it would save them $40,000, because they're not buying the car for the German engineering. They're not buying the car for the sewed, leather seating. They're buying the car for one reason: the fact that it looks like a Mercedes, and everyone knows that they overpaid by who knows what, $40,000 or $60,000 to get that car. We love to overpay, and you need to give your clients the luxury of paying more than they could otherwise pay. And it's your job to communicate that kind of value. So even when they're looking for a bargain, they're looking for possibly a bargain on something great. And I'm asked so many times, hey, I go into my first sales meeting, I have an appointment with this client, I wanted to get my foot in the door, and I finally got an appointment, I'm really excited. What should I bring? How many samples should I bring? What do I take to that meeting to impress them? Well, my advice is, I say don't bring any samples. I suggest that you don't bring any catalogs. I suggest you bring one thing: a device with which you can take notes. A pen and paper, your tablet, whatever it is that you can take notes on and interview your client. Be the doctor, be the physician. Talk about your client's pains. Talk about their challenges. Talk about, and they might have one trade show coming up. They might have a need that initiates this meeting. Go deeper. Go deeper. Be the doctor that says, what else? Tell me your other problems. What causes you to lose sleep at night? What do you wish you could do to impress your boss? What else? What would make this business tick? Is it that you have customers that buy once and you never see them again? Well, you know what? Give me a few days and I'll come back to you with a loyalty program that'll have your customers clamoring to come back time and time and time again. Is the problem that you have a too high of an incident rate in your company here, and your insurance premiums are going through the roof? Give me a few days. I'll come back with a safety program that'll lower your rate of accident incidents, lower your premiums, and bring money to your bottom line, because that's what I do. I am here to expand your bottom line. So what else? What else? Tell me your pain, because I solve pain. I don't sell imprinted products. One of my favorite stories, there was a guy up in the Northwest, somewhere in the state of Washington, and his approach to selling, and I think it's comical, I just want to share it, is he would bring a couple samples to his first meeting. He'd hide them in his briefcase, and after a little bit of interchange, he would look around the office, then look directly in the eyes of the buyer he was facing and say, you know what, as I look around this place, I don't think you can afford my prices. And he starts halfway coming out of his briefcase, bringing something that looks beautifully expensive, crystal, silver, who knows what. And he's about to place it on the client's desk, but he sort of brings it out of his briefcase, puts it back in his briefcase as he scans the office, says, oh, yeah, you know what, I could just tell by looking around, I don't think you can afford the kind of things I sell. And typically, the response he gets is, no, let me see what you have. We buy a lot of expensive things here. You'd be surprised. And now all of a sudden, he's the client sort of demanding, begging for him to show him the expensive stuff to prove that, hey, we buy expensive stuff. So interesting twist. I'm not sure what it has to do with, but I wanted to share it. And I have some advice that, Jeff just told us a story of an order that he lost. And I have a suggestion for you, and this comes under the category of not that your customer's always wrong. This might be that you could potentially be wrong every now and then. And I'm going to suggest that when you lose an order, you lose a client, I'm going to suggest you service them, provide as much service to the order you lost as you provide to the orders you get. It maybe provide more service. So when you lose an order, I would call up your client when you knew that order was supposed to deliver and say, hey, I know I didn't get the order, but that doesn't matter. I just wanted to make sure that things sort of came the way you expected. Of course, I'm here to help you last minute if there's anything I can do, but I just want to make sure things look right. It looks like it'll do the job you hope it would do in terms of your promotional campaign, because you know what? I care about you and I care about your business. And then when you know they were supposed to actually distribute the promotional product or have their campaign or their award ceremony or the trade show, call them again and say, hey, I know you had the big trade show just last weekend. I just wanted to make sure. I know I didn't get the order, but that doesn't matter. Of course, I'm here to help you last minute if there's anything I can do, but I just wanted to make sure that what you ordered actually did, created the feel that you wanted to created the action on the part of your clients or your employees or whomever the target is that you were hoping to accomplish, that you felt this was a good investment for the money that you paid. Because you know what? I care about you and I care about your company. And these clients are going to think, what the heck is this? I'm getting more service from the company I didn't order from than for the company that I actually have to write a check to at the end of this month. And your brand of service will become amazingly visible and perceived. And they will start realizing that there's a difference, that you care about their business. And what a refreshing thought that is in this industry and in today's economy. And as soon as your competitor screws up, you're going to get the business. And most often you don't have to wait for your competitor to screw up, because it'll become very obvious that you are unique. They're going to start realizing that, whoops, I guess I bought from the wrong firm. Maybe it's not about price. But you know what?
Ron, I'm really looking forward to this part right here, buddy. And sorry we're going a few minutes over, but what can I say? This is good stuff.
We're closing here, Jeff. You know what? There is some work involved. I'm a big proponent of working less, but hey, we do sometimes work our butts off, and in return for that, we need vacations. When your gas tank is empty, you got to fill up with gas, because that keeps you going. When your personal energy tank is empty, you got to replenish that, and you got to go on vacation. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, we need vacations. I just got back from 12 days in Hawaii and 3 days in Arizona for spring training. Have a life.
Great. So I'd like to take just a minute here as we close to announce the free promo tips Sail to Success Cruise, where our overarching theme is going to be truly successful, you must work less. We're going to go sailing on the Caribbean for 5 days on Norwegian Cruise Lines, one of the most luxurious cruise ships you've ever been on, and we're going to have a blast. I think I have an image of the ship. Hang on here, bear with me, and let me show you. We are going to be sailing the beautiful crystal water. That's not.
Oh, hey, ship. Isn't that the Carnival ship? I
think they were having a little issues. Hold on a second. There we go.
No, we're going on NCL. This is our ship right here.
We're going to be on Norwegian Cruise Line Sky. That's the Sky ship. It's beautiful. It's amazing. The cabins are great. And if you haven't been on a cruise, this is a great first cruise. If you have been on a cruise, this will be a likely upgrade from the cruises you've been on before. We are going to cruise for 5 days, leaving for Miami. An amazing bargain. Get this, 5 days in the Caribbean, 6 meals a day, all the food you can possibly eat, entertainment, Las Vegas-style entertainment every night. We're going to have an open bar cocktail hour every single night, unheard of on cruise ships that make most of their money from alcohol. We're going to be free-flowing. We're going to have a blast, education every morning, a new island every single day to tool around in, and it's only $389 per person. Yeah, $389 per person, and guess what? That includes port fees, and port fees $100 a person, and that's all rolled in. It's an amazing time. And the other benefit we have, Norwegian Cruise Line loves us. We had cruise last September. It was amazing fun, and to watch the distributors who joined us, to watch their businesses improve starting the day they step foot on land, it's just a thrill and very, very rewarding. $300, and if you sign up by this coming Monday, I know there's a little pressure here, but if you sign up by this coming Monday, you only need a $25 deposit per cabin. So $25 deposit for 2 people, unheard of again in the cruising industry. Normally you pay hundreds of dollars per person as a deposit. Your next payment won't be until May, final payment in July, and we'll be cruising in the Bahamas and have a blast. We'll have some land excursions that are fun, optional dinners together, or else you can go to whatever restaurant you want because there are too many to choose from on the ship, and it is amazing. We also, if you sign up by this coming Monday with your $25 for 2 people, you will get a double cabin category upgrade that the cruise ship is providing for us. Double cabin category upgrade, that means we're going to be, instead of on decks 4 through 6, like our price indicates we should be on, we're going to be on decks 8 through 10, very prestigious locations on the ship. And the sooner you sign up, the better cabin position you get. We have great cabin positions right now. And if you'd like to learn some more, yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, so Ron, I just want to add, I know this sounds like a little bit of a car salesman pitch by today, but, you know, $25 to secure the cabin is very cool, and you know, if you miss the $25 thing, you know, they do elevate the deposits, but I can tell you, you know, we had a great time last year, and we've got the regional associations involved, and if you have a regional, or if you have people you want to include, there is also a $50 per cabin. What would you call that?
We pay it's only $389 a person, and if you refer other people to our cruise to join you, we will pay you a $50 referral bonus for every additional cabin you help us fill. So if you have a circle of friends, people in your church, a club, an organization, just some neighbors, we have people that are cruising for free, maybe a regional association, get connected to the cruise, and all of a sudden you're earning $50 per cabin to boot, to reduce the price of your cruise, maybe cruise for free, or use it even as an income stream. You can make more than what the cruise is worth.
Well, and also regional associations, they can take and donate, you know, put that money into scholarship funds, whatever they want to do. I know a couple of large distributors are talking about donating their money to PPEF and so forth. So in any event, that's just an opportunity that's there. So Ron's information's there. We do have a video from last year, fairly short, shows you you get to see Dana Zizzo without a shirt. I don't know whether you want to do that, but
so if you have any questions, call the number on your screen right now. Email me right now.
Oh, it sounds like a TV ad. Call the number on your screen right now.
Or go to the website at inspiredlife.net, where you will see, as Jeff just mentioned, some snippets of the fun we had on the last cruise last September. Our cruise date is September 9th through 13th. It's a Monday through Friday, so it does not impose on your personal life, on your weekend, because we're going to learn that to be truly successful, you must work less. So we're going to impose on your work week, but not on your personal weekends, because that's the whole point. What we're going to prove is that you must work less to actualize the success that you can be. And it's not about working smarter. It's about working less, and we are going to prove it on this cruise. You are going to walk away not only with the information, but with the tools. You walk away with the tools to start working less, to make more money than you've ever dreamed making before in our industry by the time you step foot on land. We're going to have a blast. And there are always lots of questions. We expect questions. So call, email, check out the website, and we'll answer every question you have. And let's go cruising. Hey, thanks for paying attention and for joining us this morning. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, hey, thanks very much, Ron. And so any questions about Ron's contact, you can just, if you grab Ron's email address, you can contact him directly or email jeff@freepromotips.com. And our goal here was to do a 30-minute session. That's a little tight, but, you know, a lot of them are an hour. We want to value your time. And so, you know, that's why, you know, we did go a little long, but sorry about that. Anyway, next session, Maurice Domino, the Sicilian Mentor. It's going to be awesome. Again, that'll be brought to you by Evans Manufacturing. And this session, you will be getting something there from Target Line. Thank you so much. And your input, again, jeff@freepromotips.com. Let us know what you think, what topics you'd like to see us cover. We've got some interesting content planned that you're really not going to get anywhere else. So we just try to do the best we can to make this industry a better place. Thanks, folks. Have an awesome day. And yes, Ron, go ahead.
Jeff, I'm excited to participate and hear the Sicilian Mentor. Today, everyone had to suffer through the Jewish Mentor. So,
there you go.
Like a great event coming up.
And by the way, for that cruise, we navigated around a couple of Jewish holidays to, you know, make sure that it's tough to find a good date. We did the best job we can at the beginning there of September. So, hey, thanks again. Have an awesome day, and happy business building.
Hey, you bet. Go get wealthy. I can feel the wealth over the phone. Can you, Jeff?
Oh, absolutely. I can feel the wealth right now.
All right. Hey, take care, everybody.